Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Hey, this is an exclusive episode right here. This is one of its kind right here. We in the private sector right now, and I got the only goddamn white man I fuck with, man. The only goddamn one that you probably ever see on Be Heard with YB, man. I got my boy Spencer Young in the building, man. You get what I'm saying?
How we doing?
What's going down?
Well, you know, man, good chilling. Out here in the private sector, man. See what we got cooking.
Yeah, man. You know, I've been ready to shoot in this motherfucker anyway. So this is the first episode in the private sector. But you best believe you're gonna be able to catch it on the network. But man, we got so much to talk about. We got so much to spill, and we're gonna just keep it real. You know what I'm talking about? There's a lot going on in today's society and the world, and I think it needs to be discussed. You know what I'm talking about? So, what's up, Spence? You know what I'm talking about? Let my people know who you are, man, and what you stand for, and what it is, man, that you really be on. You know what I mean?
Yeah, bro. Well, I mean, you know, my name's Spencer, man. You know, I'm a husband. You know, a father.
For sure.
Blessed with 2 beautiful daughters, and really, man, what I'm about is just trying to be the best I can be for them. Something that we didn't have necessarily growing up. You know.
For sure.
And part of that is holding myself with that high integrity and letting people know the truth about certain topics.
For sure. For sure.
And that's really where I like to let my light shine. Is keeping it a whole buck, all the way up to the stack.
All the way up to the city, man. Let's get it.
Come on, man. Keep it going.
Yes, sir. Man, let's get into it, baby. Man, the first topic we got on our list, you know what I'm talking about? Since this is a black and white conversation, and I don't mean color, as in people, I'm talking about the lines that we got to face every day. We facing black and white issues. So we're gonna talk about this issue that happened down in Arkansas. We got motherfucking neo-Nazis walking through neighborhoods with KKK uniforms on. And a lot of people are giving a lot of feedback on the black individuals who are, you know, coming around to protect. They're coming around with their assault rifles. They try to make sure that their kids get to school safe, which what I would do, you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
There's no way I would let some shit like that, you know what I'm saying, come in, you know, frighten my kids, you know what I'm saying? So we're gonna chop it up on that level first, you know what I'm saying? Go ahead and just incite the people on a little bit on what's going on with that.
Yeah, so it looks like this happened back on February 7th, and one morning above one of the freeways, I think I might have been mistaken when I said Arkansas. It looks like it was in Ohio.
Ohio. That's correct.
Forgive me.
That's correct. Ohio.
Yeah, but one morning it looks like 40 to 60 of these neo-Nazi characters decided to take head to the freeway and display their banners high.
Right.
And this is a smaller majority black community, so. Right. It incited a little bit of fear, right. I would have to imagine, amongst the community.
Right.
So,
and you want to know what's crazy though? Just the thing about it is, this is beyond me, because we living in the year 2025 and we still dealing with blatant racism.
Oh, absolutely.
You know, and the thing about racism and the fact that it still exists is that the fact that it's still being taught within the homes. You feel what I'm saying? Because nobody's born, on the bullshit or thinking that I don't like this person, I don't want to be around this person. It has to be taught. So for people to have to sit there and still have that same mindset, I feel like, it's a level of ignorance that is like far superseded past anything that I can imagine. You know what I mean?
I think it's hard to put a word to it.
You know what I mean?
It's like bigger than what our brains can comprehend.
Exactly. And then at the same time, if you know universal law, living in the past is a spiritual violation. So we living in the past of old ideologies, old ideas of old civilizations and people who have been here before us, and we still carrying it today.
Right.
And that's a problem. I feel like that needs to be addressed. You know what I'm saying? Like, why not just wake up and go get some money and just live your life and just be happy?
Exactly.
Why worry about what somebody else is doing? It doesn't make sense.
I think it really, this is my feelings. I don't bring facts to the table right here for this portion.
Right.
But I'd have to feel it's all that old money still floating around, keeping that alive,
Mm-hmm. I agree with that.
It can reach into so many different categories, but that statement, I think, blankets kind of what I mean.
Right.
for example, I was raised up here. My mom raised me here because she did not want me to end up like a lot of my family down in Missouri and Kansas.
So you're people from Missouri?
Yeah, in Kansas.
All right.
Kansas City, Kansas. And I love to go see them for a couple of days. It's a blessing to go down there and do fish fry. But they don't even like how I come. So
I think it's information to know that you're from the East Coast as well. Because right now we filming on the West Coast over here in Washington, but the thing about it is to know that you're from that side. Now I feel like I have more, in compatibility with you.
Right.
Reason being is because I don't think a lot of people that's never left this side know how it is back on this side. You know what I mean? As far as like what we face or what we deal with.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? You know how a lot of people might look at it as they living their best life out here.
Mm-hmm.
But if you go to the East Coast, it's 80% of the people of the United States stand on the East Coast. And only 20% stay out here.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah.
And to think about that number, it's like that's why all your problems and your social injustice and all this type of stuff is going on here. So you have to realize that a lot of people actually are living like this in this fantasy world when it comes to the West Coast. That's how I feel. You know what I mean?
Oh,
100%.
Ignorance is bliss.
Yeah, most definitely.
Absolutely.
When it comes to the fact of, let me just jump back to this topic. When it comes to the fact that in 2025 you can have people walking down the street with fucking sheets over their head. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And acting like this shit is cool. You know what I'm saying?
It's beyond me.
Right.
I can't even, for the fact that from what I read, the police didn't do anything because they hadn't committed a crime.
Mm.
And, I'm pretty sure, lobbying a group of people, slurring hate speeches.
It's a hate crime, right?
I'm pretty sure that's passed, which, yeah. If I were to go out to you at a bar and we role played, I'm going to end up in jail.
Right.
But, if you and me and 40 other dudes go with all of our flags, that's all right.
Right.
That's not okay.
No, not at all.
So, and to touch on the fact that you said it's taught is the truest thing that I've, heard all night.
Right.
You know what I mean? My daughter, when I taught her what racism was, just because she asked, because she didn't understand why certain kids were mean to other kids at school.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, when she was young, I was poor, bro. We stayed in the hood.
Right.
She went to daycare downtown. She got to go to daycare with everybody. She was friends with everybody.
Right.
And that's how she's been her whole life.
Mm-hmm.
And like you said, living up here, it's almost like they never know. Like my daughter's young, right? She's almost 14.
Right.
But just to see how they can't even comprehend it because they've never been taught.
Right.
She can never.
To me, it's in the same perspective, right? Because I got mixed kids. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So if my kids, right, was to experience something, I wonder how it would be. You know what I'm saying? To have mixed kids and they experience this type of hate. What side do they pick? You know what I mean?
I might have a pretty good idea. And I only say that through an experience I experienced while at my grandfather's house.
You like to cut a share?
Hey, if you don't mind.
Let's go.
So, we sitting there watching TV, and down there, they're all right-wing. They're just real strong in their beliefs.
Right?
And so what we see on the news, it's like, oh, there's a shooting.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, the food drive.
Right.
Down there, it's just always political.
Mm-hmm.
And so, but even their commercials are just rude to people. Up here, you see on our Cheerio commercial, there's multiple races in commercials. We have inclusion.
Right.
And you go down there.
Diversity is the thing.
Yeah, and not down there still, to this day on TV, on the news.
Mm-hmm.
And he saw that one congressman, black man, was marrying she was a white woman who had business or something.
Right.
She was a reputable woman in the town.
Right.
And he just started popping off, calling her, him and her certain names. And I said, Grandma, what are you talking about? I don't understand what you're saying. And he goes, oh, that's the name of what they called slave women back in the day. And I said, what?
Right.
They had names for men and women, and he gave me the whole history lesson on that. And I said, now, you're wrong for that.
Right.
It's 2025, Grandpa. If
Right.
they're falling in love and they love each other for whatever reason, that's on their own business, bro.
It's on their own time.
They love each other, cool.
Exactly.
we got our kids doing worser things out here wanting to wear tails to school than to be concerned with, who my daughter's finna date.
Right.
If you ask me.
You right about that.
There's bigger concerns than our own skin tone.
Yeah, man, because
It's just a paint job.
it's about it's about the person in the essence, as far as like the heart, the character, and who they are. You know what I'm saying? I don't see it being an issue. You know what I mean?
I've been, we've traveled.
Right.
We go all over.
Right.
I've left the country. And, the nicest people I've met in this world, you meet nice people everywhere. I don't want to take away from that when I say this. But I think we being so spoiled in this country, and people who have never had to go through real problems,
right,
they don't have any clue as to where a lot of people who come here is for refuge, or, coming from those other parts of the country where we don't got it like we do out here in the city or in bigger cities. People just, I wish they'd get out and see the world more and understand, because I don't know, without saying white people are the problem directly, I don't really know how else to say it.
Hey man, you gonna be here with YB, man. Come on, man. You gonna be here with YB, man. And this one of the topics. We're not giving out. We're not trying to make people think in a certain light.
No,
we're only trying to bring the problems to light.
Right.
And this one topic in itself, we got other things to talk about. But before we move on, this topic in itself is like the epitome of ignorance. You know what I mean? Like, just imagine a group of people sitting down, having a conversation like, we're gonna go into this place or this neighborhood, this community, and we're gonna just do such and such, this and that, and we don't give a hell about those people. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then they actually do it, and then people ask the question of why don't black people trust the police or law enforcement, right? This is one of the reasons why.
Absolutely.
Because if we was to gang a group of people and come into white suburbia and do the same shit, I guarantee you it's gonna be World War fucking 7.
Swamp coming.
You know what I mean? You know what I mean? So the shoe doesn't fit both feet. It's opposite. It's not the same balance.
No.
And I think it's been known that it's not the same balance, but a lot of people fail to realize that that's what it is. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, it's that way of power and feeling like you're losing a bet or so that was never taken,
right,
so to speak.
Right.
You know what I mean? Yeah. It's an ugly situation. I think which didn't exist.
Let me ask you about. You just said something, power. What is power to you? In your sense?
For me personally, in my own life and how I carry myself, I see power as knowledge.
Right.
Not in like, I know something you don't know, but I mean, the more you know, the more you can do, the more you can teach, the more you can help.
Right.
That's what it is to me. And unfortunately, not very many people in this world feel the same way.
Right.
A lot of, if I had to guess, if I had to put my finger on it, money is power to most people. As to, for me, money is just a tool, an inanimate object for me. Right. Yeah, just like my car outside. Right. It helped me get here today from my house. Right. That is just a means to an end to make sure my kids and my wife got what they need, and we can just keep it trucking. But
exactly. That's bad.
But like knowledge is really it, dude.
Right.
And experience.
Right.
That's power. Being able to just like have those experiences, I think.
When it comes to the monologue of power, it's like, I wonder why people feel like they have to exercise it towards people who have no type of means of retaliation.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's like me bullying you because I'm in a higher position than you.
Right.
You know what I mean?
And I like, as silly as that is, I think that's what it is.
Right.
Like, we can't go out and drag Jimmy behind the truck, but we can go out and yell that, they should leave.
You feel what I mean?
Like,
hey, you want to know what's
I think
crazy?
they just want to be like their side. I don't know. It's like that suppressed anger from when they go punch their pillow when they were angry when they were kids, and now they're finally allowed to go say what they want to say
Right.
outside of the pillow.
Mm-hmm.
And here they are.
Have you ever encountered somebody that said some shit, right? Like, hey Spence, yo, F you, man. And then you turn around, you like, yo, motherfucker, who you talking to? And then it's like they took their tail.
Oh yeah.
Oh no, bro, I wasn't saying it like that. How was you saying it? You know what I'm saying? Like, how was you saying it in the first place?
My best friend is black.
Right.
I met him when Katrina happened.
Right.
Was that what, 2005?
I think around that time, yeah.
Whenever his living room flooded, he headed up here.
Mm-hmm.
And me and him have been best friends ever since. Mm-hmm. And him and I do everything together. I've watched his kids grow up. We go to the gym together. And some kid walked up at the gym one day and said, hey man, I got a question. Mm. You as a black man in America, what do you think about General Lee? And then he just kind of like spilled into some other more aggressive topics. Mm-hmm. And he sees like, the black community wants all this to stay because this is history of America. And I was like, look here, bud. I'm like doing lat pull downs. I'm like, you're gonna have to go away. We're in a public setting. I'm like, my friend's so kind. He's like, hey man, I really don't care to discuss this topic with you.
Right.
And that's when that statement that you asked came out. He said, no, I don't think you understand what I mean. Mm-hmm. And that's where I got done with my set and I stood up and I said, look here, kid, I don't think you understand what I mean. This is one of those times where you're gonna leave all your stuff, including your phone, you're just gonna leave. You can come back for this later.
Right.
When I've moved up out of this area.
Right.
But I'm not gonna stand for it. I'm not even gonna let you speak these words around me.
Right.
Because it's just unacceptable.
Set boundaries.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
See, but it's things like that, like you just said. You gain and form the relationship, right? To where it's like, this is my man's. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm gonna go to bat with him, he gonna go to bat with me. It ain't about none of this shit. Right. So when it come down to it, that's how I see it being defeated. You know what I mean?
I agree.
Because if we can it's like when I first met you. I didn't know who you was. I didn't know what you was on. And you know how we met and what setting we met in.
Right.
But at the end of the day, I gained a brother. Mm-hmm. No matter what, I'm gonna hit your line. You know what I mean? And it's been like that since day one.
Yep.
And like I said, I think that's how we combat the problem. Man, you get an understanding of the people you're around and an understanding of the people that you have to live and work around and, thrive in your community with. To be around people that you don't understand I think is a very moral problem for yourself. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So I think that's how we combat the problem though.
I agree.
Friendship.
I think we all need to take a road trip down there and just show them we all friends. Take the Nipsey Hussle movement down south.
You feel what I'm saying? For real. That's serious though. But on to the next topic. Let's get it, baby. Second topic we got on this list today. We got U.S. citizens. Well, there's talk about U.S. citizens being shipped to El Salvador and prisons being built in China. Let me hear your thoughts.
I think that's a scary thing for us American people, man.
Right.
Let's be honest. How many of us really paid attention in Spanish in high school?
No, I really didn't. Only thing I know I say is, how are you and hello.
I'm sure the offense is probably going to have to be on a more violent end if they were to ever entertain this, but, mm-hmm. What gets marketed as a violent crime, What if you crash your car and you get caught up for manslaughter? Next thing you know, you're getting shipped over to El Salvador.
Right. What would it be for the families, though? For people who love you dearly. No matter what you do or what type of crime you commit.
If anything's like the documentaries we can watch on Netflix, bro, I could pay for him to live there with me.
Hey,
man.
Man, it's some ruthless... I think it's some dangerous criminals, bro, in the El Salvador jail. You know
Absolutely.
what I mean? But are you a dangerous criminal if you get something?
You have to be though.
I
So,
mean, I would.
so would you like level out with the level of violence there?
I mean,
As
I
far as
guess you
inmates?
really have to weigh your options on what you see a better fit, right?
Right.
So, like a couple of those prisons down there are literally ran by the inmates.
Right.
Whatever gang, can hold the peace the best or whatever is in charge with like the warden, and they get the food brought in, and
Right.
they manage the territories. And
Right.
like, do you see having like your own little, I don't know, section of hoods being a better thing than putting them in a supermax where they can't touch each, they can't, you and me couldn't touch each other because there'd be 7 gates in between us,
Right.
14 snipers and a couple dogs, probably an alligator in the moat. Like, our system isn't great either, but I couldn't
definitely
say,
ain't no fucking El Salvador.
no, sir. At least you know that you aren't going to die.
And then another thing is, not just El Salvador, you got people. I mean, you got talks about prison being built in China. Now, who don't know? I don't think nobody want to go to jail in China.
No, sir.
You know what I'm saying? I don't think nobody want to
None
go
of
to jail
them
in
seem
China.
ideal. I mean, I'm not trying to go to jail here.
No, you feel me?
But
Yeah, I
let
feel-
alone where I'm the one who can't speak the language.
Right.
Oh,
you got
man.
you got motherfuckers talking about chicken chicken, you know. Yeah.
It's like,
what?
you can have my pudding.
You know what I mean? And it's crazy though, cause I couldn't imagine being a U.S. citizen and then having to do time over in China,
No,
eating rice all day.
I love rice, though. It's good.
But I can't eat it all day.
I mean, is it gonna come with some chicken at least?
I like some chicken with my shit.
Yeah, I couldn't eat some sticky white rice like that. To put a little vinegar oil on it or whatever. No, sir.
For
I
real,
mean,
for real.
I think that's scary. I mean, don't get me wrong. If you did something bad enough where they consider to let you leave the country and send you off and not care, I guess so be it.
Right,
But maybe do it with the pedophiles instead.
right.
Like they can have them.
Man, yeah. I agree with that one. Anybody who want to do that type of crime, I don't think it's too many people who have remorse for them.
In today's day and age, unfortunately, I hate to disagree with you, but like
Go
I
ahead.
don't disagree. Let it be known, camera, where you at. But people consider that a mental illness. I mean, here in our homes or here in our state where we're at now, bro, in Washington.
Why do you think that's the thing though? Why you think people consider it to be a mental illness for you doing some bull crap like this?
They want to say that it's something wrong in your head that you can go get therapy and medicine and be better about. When I think it's just like evil people be doing evil stuff, and I guess that might
Right.
be a difference of opinion.
Right.
But again, I'm a father of 2 beautiful babies, so it's like I could never,
And I'm following you behind that one. I'm 2 beautiful boys.
like I don't, certain things I don't think like after you go to prison and do your time is justifiable to let that slide.
Right.
Quite honestly, as long as it doesn't bother children, women, or like animals,
Mhm.
I think you're deserving of a second chance to some extent.
Me personally, if it come down to that, I'm definitely going to jail in El Salvador. Ship me to China. It's going
Yeah,
down.
man.
Because I'm going all in, bro. Like, you got to think about
No
it,
doubt.
man. You got to think about it, man. Like, there's no way that you can sit there, right, and be allowed to commit this type of crime, and then somebody just sit there and be like, oh, he had a mental illness. He had a problem. He's not really like that. And then you get out and do it again and again and again
Yeah.
and again.
Yeah.
But the thing about it is when you go online and you look at how many surround you, it's fucking crazy, bro.
Yes. And I don't know.
And
if
it's
you know-
scary.
How long you been out here in Spokane now?
I say about 3 years.
So like, do you know about the prison we got out here?
Which one, Geiger?
Yeah. Like, do you know what that mainly houses out there?
Those people?
Yes, sir. We used to have an island
Right,
out in Seattle, kind of like the one they have in New York.
right, like Rikers.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
But it was just for them, the weirdos.
That's crazy, bro.
And then they got rid of that and they brought it over here. So like, if you and me are to go catch a real charge right now, we're not going to prison here. Probably in near home. We're going to California. We're going to Vegas. You
Right.
feel me? They're gonna send us somewhere where like bad people are. But like, We got so much of that over here, bro. They got the biggest prison on the West Coast for it right here, and then next one down in California.
Wow. As you know, right? That somebody told me that they rather do time at Geiger.
It's easy. Think about when you're hanging out with a bunch of goofs. Like, I'm not 12 years old, so I think I'm all right.
But it's the thing though, like I wouldn't want to really be around them.
No,
You know what I'm saying?
but at the same time, like, you know, with how our criminal justice system operates, especially with a lot of the jails, like I would almost rather go to a federal prison than a regular prison.
Right.
Because I mean, at least they still like it sounds like existence in a federal prison is much more maintained
Right.
than just like a lot of these overpopulated
I
jails.
think it's
and
more.
such.
I think it's more rehabilitation going on in the federal prison as well.
I do agree.
You know what I mean? Than a state prison. I think
Yeah.
state prison is really like
It's the jungle gym. Man.
Yeah.
It's like it's just a hot box of people with issues. They ain't getting no help.
right
You can still gang bang. You can still do everything you did in the streets. You operate the same way.
same way exactly. But at least if you go to a federal penitentiary, one that's credible. I don't know what they
You
really
can
mean,
get-
but
you can get a lot of your like what is it? Your college degree in
Exactly.
there, or a high school
trades,
diploma,
all
trade,
type of
right?
stuff.
You can
Because
get
a lot of people come home from federal prison
Yeah.
and actually start businesses.
Dude,
You
I
know
had a
what
friend when we were younger, you know, we got in trouble. He went to the feds. When he got out, now he's like, he has a full blown career, wife, kids, you know, and he learned a lot of that from there.
Right,
I'm going to do a job for like what, 46 cents an hour.
right,
But I mean, he did something with it, you know,
Right.
so like to your point, it's much more credible. You can do
Right.
something with it.
and I agree with that 100%. Because my dad, right, one of his friends, came home and started a trucking school.
Mm-hmm.
Now he teach cats how to drive trucks, which I think is like amazing. For
Absolutely.
you to act, for you to sit there and do all that time, then come home and actually give back and do something that's that's convincing to the society.
Mm-hmm.
So, with that being said, yeah, man, the federal prison system is way better than the state prison system.
Mm-hmm.
But the justice system in general is
It needs another look, you know.
What
I
I'm
think we need
saying.
to revisit that because
Right.
that honestly would, you know, we could touch back on our first topic with that statement, on probably any other topic within our country.
right.
I mean, shoot, have you ever taken a look at how prisons do it? I mean, and not that I want to adopt all the ways of other places, but you know, wouldn't it be neat? America is that way as it is. We have a lot of different ethnicities with different culture here.
Right.
Why can't we adopt like Sweden's badass way of how their prisons are?
Right.
You go to prison over in Sweden, they put you in drug rehab, you get therapy, you get a regular apartment.
Right.
They let you dress like a human being and go outside.
Make me want to go be a criminal.
Dude.
No, for real.
No, but I mean, you know, for those who come out the trenches and don't have that opportunity,
Right,
you
right.
mess your life up real bad, and you go spend the next 7 to, you know, potentially 25 years, whatever, from a kid all the way to adulthood. But you come out with a little bit of schooling. You come out with like the ability to articulate sentences,
Right.
and communicate, and you have some education behind you, and like there's a road paved for you moving forward,
For sure.
rather than just like, hey, bro, next Friday we're gonna cut that gate open out front. You got a ride lined up?
Right.
Because we only got $7 for a taxi for you.
Right.
Like that's how it is here. They just be kicking you out of prison. You got to check in though, like the next city over with your PO by tomorrow.
Right. Hey, you want to know something though? In some countries, like Japan, for example, crime is so low.
Mhm.
You can literally leave your wallet, phone, keys, and everything on a picnic table, and it'll still be there 3 days later.
Have you ever looked into how they get down?
That's why I'm telling you that. Like they so strict to the point where you can leave. I'm talking about cash money
Yes.
right out on the table. Nobody will touch it.
Yeah.
Try that in America.
Not happening.
Not happening.
You can't go to the bathroom and leave a half-eaten cheeseburger out with somebody walking by for it.
You know what I mean? Because a lot of people our justice system is not great, but a lot of people take it for a joke. You know what I mean? But in other countries, they don't take it for a joke at all.
No.
Because they know what the consequences is.
Yes. I mean, could you imagine? It's similar to something we've got out here in Arizona that like where you go to prison outside and you're out in the sun all day.
Well,
Yeah.
in Arizona,
Mm-hmm.
that's fucking torture.
Yeah, that's the point.
You feel me? That's torture,
That's the
bro.
point. They got these little hot boxes when you don't listen, they sit you out in the sun.
Oh, yeah.
But you know, think about having to go out and work
Yeah.
for, if we just had a pile of brick right here, and I'm gonna say, Aunt, Today you're gonna move all these bricks over here. Tomorrow you're gonna come out and put them over here. And the
Man,
next day you're gonna come back. But you know, they obviously have a purpose for the work they're putting them towards. But
Right.
like, it's just like indentured slavery.
modern day slavery for sure.
Absolutely.
But I feel like that's where slavery actually went. It just was took from one group of people and put on everybody.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
See, that takes it back to the first topic where we was talking about racism. Everything has been switched over. See, a person with a lower level of thinking might think like, okay, I don't like him because he's this color. I don't like her because she's this color. But the thing about it is, when it's all said and done, we are all slaves in their system. We all have to perform certain chores. You feel what I'm saying?
Mhm.
And if they don't get done, they do what they do. You feel what I mean?
Yeah.
So they played the trickery game on us and switched it all over. And that's the killing part about it.
Yeah, so wow. So I just like thought of something. Tell me what you think. So it's always been a division game. Keep us separated, right?
Right.
Like again, you, me, we're locked in. We
Right.
see past that.
Right.
But there's a lot of people who don't, you know.
Right.
Some people won't talk to their family members because of political beliefs, woo, whatever, or this or that. So you did say it was switched, right? So like a lot of people want to say let that shit go, but like a lot of people in the black community are still harboring hatred, right? And when it goes back to prison, think about it. In prison, you and me can't be friends.
Right.
I got to go sit with the white boys on the fence, and you got to go be with yours over there. And
Right.
if we get caught talking, then we're, color traders or
right.
whatever, you know.
Yeah, we gotta watch our own ass
So
with our own
when,
people.
when that shit is still like the concrete jungle way of life, then you got to come back out here and treat it like you and me are allowed to be friends again.
Right.
And I think that could probably put a huge dent in how our society is structured, because the biggest business in this country is private prisons.
Right.
One of them, anyways.
Right.
Can't say biggest.
But private prisons are also endorsed by the music industry.
Mm-hmm.
The
You know
ones
who
who
else
play.
endorses them quite a bit?
Who is that?
The guy that makes the shoes on our feet.
Jordan.
Yes, sir. That's one of his second biggest investments, if I'm not mistaken.
Right.
Private prisons. and his own shoes.
Bark also.
Yeah.
50 Cent even got into it.
Mm-hmm.
See, that's the thing about it.
Power.
Exactly.
And I think that's where it all started, is somebody thinking that they could, if I could just get you in the trunk and get you to the right person, I can get $100,000 for you. It's just a matter of getting you in the trunk and getting to the right person.
Right.
And whoever had that idea in the first place, they was wrong. We need a time machine. We can go back, hit him one time,
Right.
and tell his mother she should have done better.
Right. Conditioning is strong.
Yeah.
It's not, we can go even deeper because they started in school.
Oh, yeah. Well, school lined you up to go to prison.
Right. You know what I mean? So that's why a lot of people with money don't send their kids to to public schools. They send them to private schools.
And I wish I had the money to do so.
Right.
I don't know how yours isn't old enough to go to school, is
My youngest is 4 and my oldest is 7. He's in school.
My daughter, she almost about to be in high school. She's in her last year, 8th grade middle school.
Right.
These kids got bathroom passes now, and it ain't like when we was in school and we'd say, "Hey, I got the bathroom pass. I'm gonna go to the bathroom." No, they got a computer, and you get 2 passes a day with a 5-minute time limit. And if you ain't back, they come looking for you, and you get in trouble.
Right.
And I said, "I'll be damned. Let them call." How you bet to tell a young lady that she only has 5 minutes to
use her
potentially
phone.
handle a certain circumstance in the bathroom?
Right. True that. True.
You know what I mean? But like, how's prison? You got 10 minutes on chow. You got you got this so many minutes to shower, and you can only go now.
You walking in single file
You get
line.
to go outside for 10 minutes.
Right.
Yeah, line up for school on this yellow line here. And it just conditions you to taking orders, being in a confined long hallway with a little bit of break.
And they do it to us, but when you do something, they say it's your fault. It's not my fucking fault. You made me this way. You know what I'm saying?
Well,
it's not my fucking fault.
That whole like statement can go forever, man. Like that goes into the people who have so much money we won't hear their names.
Yeah, true.
And that select group of family. I mean, you Google it. You know, it's out there. It's not like all the way censored, I reckon. But
Yeah.
they bought all the textbooks for the schools back in the 40s.
Right.
And they changed up, how to keep poor poor and how to keep rich rich. Well, we all need to go to work after school, right? We need to have jobs and have kids.
You
and
get
wives.
taught how to be an employee
Yeah,
instead of a
exactly.
boss.
We don't get taught how to be forward thinkers and run stuff for ourselves.
Right.
Really live our lives like they get to every day because they need somebody to run their business.
But do you think just because they got the money, right, or they got the means to somewhat control some certain aspects of life? Because I still think as an individual, as a human being, you still got certain rights to your life,
For sure.
as far as like your movement and how you operate.
Absolutely.
Even though, like my cousin would say, he feel like we don't have no control in a way because he feel like everything is already constructed for you because they feel like they know how you think.
Mm-hmm.
But to make a long story short, do you think they actually are living a happy life, or do you think they miserable in some type of way that they got to cause misery on other people?
I think none of them are happy.
Right.
I think none of them are happy because, like, unlocking, like, that's, think about it, bro. When we grew up, what caused us to be out in the streets? Not having, right? Whether that have been a strong family, money, anything.
Right.
I got introduced to them boys, and I seen them getting money and doing stuff, and they had cool shoes.
Yeah, the
and
nice
they was
cars.
Yeah.
The pretty women.
Right.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, and even before we was thinking about women, mom would pull out a bankroll, just go buy some juice and stuff from the store, and I'm out here with some pocket lint. Like, how you getting money, man? We're not old enough to work.
Right.
I was right after it, bro. But now we have that opportunity and that choice, right? And we can help. The idea is to change and mold a different way for these kids to do so.
Right. And I think that's why I do what I do, because that's like one of the biggest things for me. It's like, man, if somebody would have told me some of the things that I didn't know that I know now,
Yeah.
I think it would probably have been I would have been where I would have wanted to be quicker. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Way quicker.
Absolutely. If I would have gone to school, paid attention, done the things that I was supposed to have done, But at the same time, I wouldn't change any of these experiences at
No,
all.
not at all.
Because
Not at all. Because it created you. It made you who
absolutely.
you are. Right.
Absolutely.
It's the blueprint to your you. You know what I mean?
Because that's what makes us unique in our way, in our message.
Right.
So, like, yeah, without that, I would just be some other guy who would be like, what?
True
That happened?
True that.
And I would much rather be on this side of the fence because, kind of like you said a few moments ago, it's about breaking free from that construct. It's almost like breaking free of the matrix, if you will, right? Once you can truly understand that power isn't money, power isn't success,
Right.
power is it's memories with our family. It's stuff. What do you want your legacy to be that you left your son or your daughter a stack of money, right? That's great.
Right.
But wouldn't it be cooler if they had their whole lives to tell our grandkids and their grandkids how, great great grandpa Spence and Anthony took them to Mexico, or took them. We all went to Greenland, or just we got to spend summers together,
Right.
or nights together,
Right.
or
and not slaving our fucking
Right.
life away because
because it's great to have bread and all, but like now my drive to have bread is to just go fuck it off with my family, get to give them that experience that I didn't necessarily get to have.
before I go into what I want to say, I'm gonna stop and say this first before I forget. The people who invest, do you like a Jordan or a Bob Barker or a 50 Cent or anybody who invests in the prison system, which is a whole list of entertainers in
For
general. Sure. For the people who do invest in that system, do you think it's just them thinking now that they reached the level of success and no business, that it's just a business deal or a business transaction, and not really worrying about the reason why people end up there?
I don't know if your mom was like my mom when I was a kid, but she'd say, one white lie leads to a big lie. The more times you tell that white lie, it's easier to tell that big lie, right? Same thing with the first time you do it, the easier it is when you're conquering a fear.
So you're saying that they probably lying to themselves to make it feel like it's
I think at
something.
a certain point, it's so easy for them to look the other way that, like, if you and I wanted to put crime into stock margins on a computer, it'd probably
Right.
make a lot easier decision. We'd probably rather pick home invasions over the robbing of the pawn shop because it's going to net us a higher
Right.
return or whatever.
Right.
So to them, I think it's purely business because the morality has been shoved so deep into that drawer that they're not paying any sense. They might think about it at night after the fact.
I think they can't sleep at night, if you ask me.
I mean,
I think a lot of them don't sleep and they suffer from sleep depression.
I think that, yeah, I think
know
that's
what I
why
mean?
you got to have a basketball court and a golf court and
Right.
an
You know,
entertainment center and a movie theater because you ain't gonna get no sleep.
right. You can't let your mind idle
Yeah.
because you just gonna bother you for sure.
As to where you and I sleep like babies because we do the best by people we know how to.
Right.
Right. We don't do anything with malice in our heart to the best of our abilities. Right. And that pays forward with really good karma and experience in life, and we can grow and shape those relationships with both our families, friends, and kids. Everything.
Right. And then to jump back forward on what I was gonna say,
Yeah.
when it comes to the people who run these major corporations, it's us, right, that keeps the motor running.
Mm-hmm.
People of America, the average worker, the people who are going to working the 9 to 5. You know what I mean? The thing that irks me the most is when I see people complaining about their current circumstances and the jobs that they're working, not knowing how much power they actually have towards their corporation.
Oh yeah.
Their corporation don't run and nothing.
Mm-hmm.
They only make it seem like that. They make it ideal to say that, okay, we run this, we can fire you. Okay, what happened if all of us quit?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
What happens then?
Right.
That machine don't turn on.
Yes.
Their product don't move down the line.
So
You know what I mean?
I'll tell you a story. It's a brief one to just carry on this. But one time at a particular job, I was filling out an accident investigation form. I was filling out an accident investigation form.
Right.
That's when somebody get hurt at the job.
Right.
And it said what tool was damaged.
Right.
And I wrote down, Ricky. Because to your point, we the people are the
tool.
company's most valuable tool.
Right.
And they told me, you can't be writing that down. And I say, well, how do you figure?
Mm.
We are the tools. We make that button push. We make that window spin, or we make that license plate or that bumper or whatever.
Right.
So if people would understand that us as the 1% or whatever, we're really the 99%, like if all of us would get on the same page and could get past all that diversity, or people crying about which newscaster you like more,
Or what party are you with, associated with? Don't you know, the light bill company, I said light bill, the light company called me earlier for a survey, which was funny to me, right? They called me to do a survey. I actually sat there and wasted my time and did it. You know what I'm saying?
bored.
So to make it, and I was actually out having, I took my son to lunch earlier, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I actually sat there and fucking did the survey. And during the call, she asked me, what party am I associated with? I said, neither. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
I'm saying I'm
business.
neutral, baby. I'm in the middle. I don't got no opinion on neither side because they work together. But at the end of the day, it's like, why would a light company ask me some shit like that? And I'm still pondered about it right now. Like, why the fuck did she ask me that? But this just goes
to the bigger statistic, man.
Right. But it just goes to show you, it's always a line of divide, and there's always somebody saying pick a side.
Did they ask your race by any chance as well?
No, she didn't ask that part. She didn't ask that part.
Oh, I would be interested to know,
Right.
just for the simple thoughts.
What she did say was, she said, I know you sound like a man, but I have to ask, what do you identify as?
Man, you have it correct. Next question.
Hey, I found this so interesting that this survey had nothing to do with my life. You feel what
No,
I'm saying?
at all.
And it made me, I was really thinking like to myself, like, I gotta be getting a prank call right now. You know what I'm saying? Like, this gotta be a prank call.
Well, I think it all goes towards like that all-inclusive like pitch that the world is trying to shoot out to keep everything calm, Like
Right.
if they can say that they've got like, a black middle-aged confused transgender man that doesn't know what he wants, but he wants our light. He whatever he is, Spider Junior Hulk,
Right.
he wants his energy through us.
Right.
I don't know.
It's crazy, bro. But man, I feel like they always want you to choose a side.
Yes.
And the day we don't choose a side, it'll be the day that this world changed and the ideals change in
Yeah.
general. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree. And I think that's what is so unfortunate is that like conversations between, you and I, for example, come so far and few in between with people because of that divide that they can't, you know, put their religion or their belief on party or whatever at bay just to have this educated conversation and
Right.
talk about knowledge or growth or whatever,
Mhm.
or just the understanding of somebody and how they operate.
Right.
You know, I've got family that doesn't talk to each other, and my, love her to death, and I'll fight anybody over her. But like I tell her all the time, you need to get off that damn Facebook.
Right, bro.
What drives you to get on people about how they feel? And they're like, well, I just want them to see. I want them to wake up.
Right,
And
right.
it's like,
You-
if we could all put that shit down,
We can get back to life.
right? Like,
Feel me?
like, Grandpa, I'm sure you'd be shocked to find out that the nice, man down the street loves to eat bacon and pancakes on Sunday morning too, and that, I'm good, believe it or not, but I want to try your auntie's collard greens because I love collard greens
Right.
too, and
You
like,
feel
why
me?
can't we all just like get along and kick it,
Exactly.
grow? There's so much. That's why I said knowledge is that power to me,
Right.
because I can learn about how you grew up,
Mhm.
and I can learn about how, somebody from another country or many of other countries grew up. Like
Right.
I have a friend on TikTok from France, and I love to hear about their way of life and how they see and view things in comparison to what we've been taught textbook from school.
Right.
And it just gives me that bigger, vaster.
You trust that's so wholeheartedly true, bro, because I got a homeboy, my partner Scotty. He's Latino Mexican, right? It's my fucking man's, you know what I mean?
Hmm.
Got the privilege of staying at his father's house, during South by Southwest one year.
Okay.
Me and the whole squad, the whole team. He opened the doors for everybody. No rooms, don't nobody get no room. We spent the night there, we slept there, we ate there, we ate breakfast the next morning. He passed on now, our condolences to him.
Absolutely.
But he passed on now. But the warmth, bro, the love, bro, and the acceptance was real.
Hmm.
And you know what I'm saying? It's like it's so rare to find it these days, bro.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's so rare to find it, and you got to really search for it.
Mhm.
And that's why when you find real, true, genuine people, you got to really hold them close to their heart. You feel what I'm saying? Because
Yeah.
this world it's real camouflage out here. Like
Mhm.
people wearing masks every day,
Oh,
bro.
yeah.
Like this is not the real person. You
No.
know what I'm
I
saying?
was just trying to tell my daughter that you could think you know somebody,
Mhm.
and you can know them so well, spend all your time with them, and they'll switch up in a
For
heartbeat
sure.
and do something you'd never expected.
For sure.
So, like, to your point, when you find those people, you build your second team of family members. Not all of them are blood, and
Exactly.
you got to keep them tight.